Matt Pat from motherfucking Food Theory, or really Game Theory. I have a goddamn fucking bone to pick with you, motherfucker. I, Zinker of the Speletons, and Derek, in this session of Paper Mario Origami King, have a huge goddamn fucking problem with your fucking theory on whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not. Okay? I am beyond pissed. If you haven't seen it, maybe go watch it. But don't even give him the satisfaction. Here's what happens. Alright? He sources the USDA. And according to them, if it has meat or poultry in it, between like a bread, it's a sandwich. Okay? That includes a hot dog. That also includes open-faced sandwiches that have meat on it.
Yes, but he also determines the USDA is not a credible source for defining a sandwich, which I do agree with.
That's because the USDA...
I've even said that before.
The USDA only deals in meat and poultry and also eggs, which should be included in their definition of sandwich. The FDA are the bad boys that cover all of food. And he doesn't even bring those guys up, or their definition, which basically is just has bread, has something, that's a sandwich, as I recall. I don't have the exact one in front of me, but that's about it. Which, yes, includes hot dogs, and yes, includes pizzas, and yes, includes burritos and tacos as a sandwich. Then, he goes to the government. He goes to the taxpayers. He wants to know how the taxpayers, the tax man agency from the Beatles, the tax agency in New York, has determined that a sandwich is they classify pretty much anything that involves bread as a sandwich, as long as it also contains something else. So basically the same thing as the FDA. I'm obviously like paraphrasing like a hell a ton. But according to the definition provided by the taxpayers, if you put bread in between two pieces of bread, that is a fish. Derek, if you put a piece of bread in between... It's not
taxpayers.
Derek!
Definition.
They pay taxes too, to themselves. Okay? If you take a piece of bread and put it between two pieces of bread, that is a sandwich. According to the tax man. According to Mr. Taxi. Taxington Mon-Taxer. The tax man. Taxman non-taxer. Alright, yes. And also, for some godforsaken reason, chicken wings are a sandwich. They don't need to be between bread. They just, themselves, are a sandwich.
I think they were chicken wings.
Oh, I mean, still. I feel it's not the same thing. Okay. Now, I have problems with the taxpayers. Obviously, they just want money. But theirs is at least better than the USDA. Once again, I would like to note, didn't bring up the FDA's definition of a sandwich. FDA is an organization that knows what they're talking about. At least as far as America is concerned. I know we talked about it in relation to America. Hiccup. Mm-hmm. What did this fucker bring up? He even states that under all the definitions provided so far, a hot dog is a sandwich. What does Matt Pear? What does this fucker do? He brings up a random fucking court case, right? He brings up a court case. Mm-hmm. This court case between a Panera Bread and a mall, which they're under the leasing contract. They're supposed to be the only sandwich shop in that mall because competition's bad. A Mexican place opens right next door, and Panera has a problem with it because it's like, well, they sell burritos and tacos. That's sandwiches. That's our competition. So they try to sue. And the judge And they bring in an expert, some culinary expert, who says a burrito and tacos, not a sandwich. Guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but whatever. The what's-it-called, the judge sources the Merriam-Webster definition, as I have done in a prior episode of this hot dog debate, that I'm sure you can find if you search this. This one's different because it's a little older. I think this one's still in the Merriam-Webster, but there's more than just that one of these sources, which is essentially needs to be 2 thin pieces of bread with a thin layer of filling, which could be like bread, cheese, etc. between it. Again, paraphrasing, and that's a sandwich. Which under that definition, a hot dog isn't a sandwich, and more importantly, a burrito is and taco are not a sandwich.
I remember bringing up a ratio of fillings too before.
Well, see, all right, so there's a problem with that definition just on its own. Which is just that, first off, it needs to be a thin piece of bread, which arguably a hamburger and a sub does not fill. Even more arguably, because what defines thin here, you could just say a regular slice of bread doesn't cut it. But, that's neither here nor there. It also says a thin layer, so if you get a stack of something, i.e. a burger, not a sandwich still. Also, doesn't account for open-faced sandwiches, which Matt had in his own video sources, and yes, open-faced sandwiches are their own type of sandwich. Okay? Now, the judge sets up this definition logically, because he even says it in the quote, and Matt Pat says it in the quote he quotes, where he says, it's common sense that a burrito and a taco aren't a sandwich, which is, it's not that one that I looked for, but he said, shit, let me pull it up real quick, hold on. I need that quote real quick. This quote's important. This quote's hella important. Can you bring that up? Alright, well, okay. Under this definition, and as Justice Locke, by the way, in this court case that I don't remember the name of, under this definition and as dictated by common sense, this court finds that the term sandwich is not commonly understood to include burritos, tacos, and quesadillas. Now, that what's important is what he says there, because this is important to the court case, but doesn't disclude what the definition of sandwich entails. He says, under this definition, and dictated by common sense, this court understands that the term sandwich is not commonly understood to include burritos, tacos, and quesadillas.
But the whole point of the definition of a sandwich is it's for language, and the point of language is common understanding.
It's all for common understanding. Right, but that's not... What do you mean? What?
Well, that's why yes. That's why those should not be qualified, that's why those should not count as sandwiches, is because they're not commonly understood to count or to be sandwiches. The point of the word sandwich is to define a type of food, and if they by definition fit the type of food, but logically, common sense dictate they are not in fact that type of food, then you don't classify them as that type of food. Whereas if it's because they're very different, you could spend the point is to have a simple definition, but if you really wanted to, you could make a definition that would specifically exclude burritos, tacos, anything like that, if you wanted to. The point is to make it simple and common. Okay,
so that's not correct. Yeah. Language is merely a means to communicate. The commonly understood thing is not true whatsoever. Language does not need to be commonly understood. It is only meant to.
And what's the point?
To communicate. What's the point? To communicate
if it's
in a
not
certain
commonly
language.
Understood.
It's not commonly understood.
Yes,
So
but it's not
Derek,
commonly understood. Then
if
how
you
are you
make
communicating?
if you make a language with just you and your friend, that's not a commonly understood language. But it is a language understood by you and your friend.
Different.
That's not different. That is a language. This is very
The point
important
of
for
English,
definitions.
yes, but the point of English is the point of English, the point of broad languages like English is to be commonly understood. If you Zinker, if you design a language that specifically with the intent of making it not commonly understood, I don't know what you've designed.
Nothing good, but that doesn't mean like it has to be that way. It's just a language. It's just a means to communicate. It does not necessarily need to be commonly understood. That is not part of language's definition. It helps for things to be commonly understood, but Derek, how many people out there do you think actually commonly understand all the words in the English language? There are many words out there that people don't understand but are still used to communicate, like jubilation or rancorous. Those are, I mean, you might know those words, but those are big boy words, really big boy words that you might not necessarily encounter commonly. But it still has a definition that's understood. And that definition is important because, you know, it's a way to communicate in a sort of way, you know. The thing with as
So
he says.
if the point of language isn't to be understood, then what's the point of language?
No, it's to be understood, but the thing is, he says commonly understood, which is, and it's important because it's this doesn't fall into just a straight up English definition, which it can fall into, which this word can, which sandwich can fall into. It can have an understood meaning, but legally speaking, like Mexican food as a restaurant is different than just a sandwich shop on its own. That's just a pure sandwich shop. There is a difference between that. Even if Mexican includes sandwiches, or a pizza shop includes sandwiches on its menu, there's a difference between that. There's even a difference between like a burger place and a regular sandwich shop. Because burgers are sandwiches, and it's even commonly understood that burgers are sandwiches. But in the same legal scenario, you would not hold a burger place.
There's a subclass of sandwich.
They still are classified as a sandwich, but you would not hold a burger place the same as, say, a Subway. They're not the same. They're not commonly understood to be exactly the same. And that's what's important here in this legal thing, which is where this justice is coming from.
The main thing that makes them different is the inner part of the. Well, I guess it's still what the argument was about.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, though.
So
and
it's the same argument.
Yeah. You can't just let, because then you have Panera has a monopoly on all these different sandwich types. Even if you disagree with me on the pizza and burrito part, whatever. Once again, burgers are still understood to be commonly. Oh, what do I do here? Hold on, this shit. I got into a fight. Oh wait, I know what I need to do. There we go. Okay. Do I just go all out? Sure. Alright. And one fire, please. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I hope this kills them. It won't, but I hope it does. Nope, that killed one of them, though. Okay. It's because because then Panera has a monopoly, or even prevents like a burger place from existing in a mall, even though it's definitely clearly a different business thing. That's why legal definitions and actual definitions will differ sometimes, and it makes sense for them to.
Yes.
To some extent.
Yeah.
And in this context, and I'll agree if it, like what the hell? Oh, I can't fight that dry bones now. Do you want to call the boot car? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Why don't you lay the fuck off, Olivia? I bet you think a hot dog is a sandwich, dumb bitch. Anyhow, I think it was my main point. That's my main complaint was the thing. Also, my main complaint is he found 2 definitions, ignored another definition that's very important. The FDA's is a very important definition of what a sandwich is. And then sources this court claim. I love that he sourced this court claim. It is important to the debate, the very important debate
I
of our
honestly
time.
think the court claim is the best way of defining it, because the court was for one thing, the court was a neutral party,
Right.
in that they had no stake in who actually like who is correct on the definition.
Right. But
point
you have to understand
the point of this stuff is to determine practicality.
Right, but you need
not every definition is concrete. There are subjective definitions.
My thing with the oh. Sorry. It was just really funny watching him throw just one pedal. Oh, that killed the dry bones. Okay. Oh, booze. All right. I think that commonly understood thing is like the importance there, because he's not defining what a sandwich is legally. He's defining what a sandwich commonly is, what a sandwich shop commonly is. Okay, this is interesting.
What other definition of sandwich is more important than what's commonly a sandwich?
Just other classifications of what makes a sandwich, Derek.
Why would any other definition be more important though than what's commonly a sandwich?
Well, Derek, let me put it this way. What if there was a video game shop, right, in the mall? Paper Mario is Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door is an RPG video game, and Paper Mario and the Origami King is an action-adventure puzzle video game. What if one shop specializes in RPG games, like Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door, and another shop specializes in, I guess, puzzle games, like Paper Mario and the Origami King. And they were, for some reason, in the same sort of contract as a sandwich shop is, which, based on what Pat sourced, wouldn't really be a thing for a video game shop, or at least that'd be atypical, I imagine. But, you know, so they specialize it. So they have, for some reason with the mall people, they have the same sort of agreement. The shops need to, you know, that they've agreed that you need to, what am I trying to say? They've agreed that there's not going to be any duplicate shops what they sell. The Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door shop or whatever. The RPG video game shop. Technically speaking, they are both video game shops. They all fall under the definitions of video games. And that's important because of what is a video game. Like a video game product is important to understand because it's sort of a thing. But they sell very different things. An RPG video game is not equivalent to a puzzle video game necessarily. I mean, I probably could have done like a FPS shooter and RPG. That'd probably be better. But, you know, like, so they're not like they're necessarily competing with each other, you know, where it actually is affecting business, or like where the person has a right to deny them that business for whatever from the mall. That way they have a little less competition. People will buy more RPGs or whatever, as opposed to puzzle games or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, in the situation of this Mexican restaurant versus Panera Bread, this is just so people have to eat more Panera Bread. That's what it's for. It's not there's no hope to you know, it's just that they're not like directly competing with each other like is implied, but Panera is trying to argue that they are, just because if you don't have the option for Mexican food, then that's more likely a chance you'll go to Panera instead, at least, of the sort. Same concept, but they're different. They're different shops, and the games and the game types are different, but they're both video games. so that's the importance of this
Okay.
definition here.
What's the question? What's the question you're asking?
What do you mean? I'm not asking a question.
What's the point of what you're saying then?
What's the point when I'm saying why it matters for there to be a broad definition of a sandwich versus not as broad definition of a sandwich?
They're not competing, so there's no point in being defined under the same thing.
They're always competing, Derek. They're just not like it's not that like.
Right, but they're not competing because someone's like, oh, which sandwich do I like better?
Right.
They're two different types of food.
Oh, I fucked that up. They are two different types of food. Look, it's hard to focus on this game, but they're still sandwiches. That broad definition of sandwich still matters, is what I'm trying to say. Well, that didn't work. Alright, here we go. Watch this move now.
But why?
Why? I don't fucking know,
why
Derek.
Does it still matter?
Why? That's what I was trying to explain with the video game one. Like, alright, that still matters.
You have to have a reason. You can't just say it matters and then not give a reason why it matters.
I just don't, Derek. I don't have that on the top of my head. It matters because we need to determine whether a hot dog is a sandwich.
How does it matter?
It does.
It's not.
It is!
We just went over this.
We went over 2 of the 4.
The video you thought was going to defend you didn't defend you.
Sorry, 3, because he didn't source the FDA. 3 of the 4 definitions brought up in that video, one of which should have been brought up in the video at least, said that a hot dog is indeed a fucking sandwich.
Yes, but some were biased.
No. Only...
That's the problem.
No. One of them wasn't biased. One of them... only one of them was biased. It's the taxpayer one.
One of them, okay, yes, but one of them doesn't have. One of them has like no good authority on the subject. They don't.
That's not true. That's not correct at all. The USDA has authority on the subject.
Grilled cheese isn't a sandwich.
USDA has authority on the subject. They just only care about what pertains to meat and poultry of it. They have.
So why would you care about their definition though if they're not going to give you a full sandwich definition?
Because they're not giving a full definition of a sandwich, Derek, but they give a partial definition of a sandwich, which includes the hot dog.
Though?
What uses the partial definition, Derek? If their partial definition includes that a hot dog is a sandwich, then it stands to reason that, and their definition is a partial definition. That stands to reason their definition is a part of a whole.
Where's the other part?
Where you don't get it from the USDA.
What if the other parts? What if the other part says except if it's got a hot dog?
What?
I'm just saying you have to consider like
that's a conflicting. That's not a part of a whole, Derek. That's not how math works.
Point to the definition.
You can add a null point to. That's not part of their definition. What? What are you talking about?
If you consider someone else, if you're only gonna have a partial definition, then you can't. Then you need to still complete that definition.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get the rest of the definition from somewhere else. And if from the somewhere else you get a null definition where they're going to say except certain things that the like let's say they say except hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Then
there's no definition that's like that.
Then the hot dog still wouldn't be considered a sandwich.
But B, no, that's not true. Because those are conflicting. That's not. When I say a partial definition, Derek, that's a part of a whole. If the part of the whole conflicts with one of the parts, that's not. They're not of the same set. It's like having a puzzle piece. Like you have a puzzle piece.
They're not
hold on. Let me finish my thing. Let me finish my thing. If you have a puzzle piece. You have a part of a whole, and you need all the other puzzle pieces to fit into a bigger picture. But if you have a similar-looking picture, puzzle, whatever, but one of the pieces doesn't connect with that puzzle piece, you can't be like, well, this puzzle piece doesn't exist now, or it's not relevant, or it's not part of the big picture. It's the wrong picture. That's A, and then B is just that there's not really a definition like that. Even going with the legal one, which is the which again is still, I would argue the legal one is still even just a partial definition of a sandwich, as opposed to the bigger picture. The FDA would be the bigger picture, as an example. Even the
The problem
taxpayers would
is you
still
want
probably
a
be a bigger.
quantitative definition, and this is not a subject that requires can attain or that should have a quantitative definition because of the broadness and general definition of what people consider a sandwich. And the point of having a definition for sandwich in the first place is for it to be commonly understood what is a sandwich.
Okay. What if I want to go on a sandwich-only diet?
Which is why common sense.
I got it. No. What if I want to go on a sandwich-only diet?
Then only eat sandwiches that are defined by what is commonly defined as a sandwich, which I'm sure while this court case was not hard pressed to give specifics, if you were to consult expert chefs and ask them what count or what or please or ask them to tell you what counts as a sandwich, as a chef was cited in this case, they would be able to give you an exact definition or exact list of what counts as a sandwich and what doesn't. Not everything, you're not going to have a specific, I'm sure they could come up with a definition that encompasses exactly what the sandwich. It's going to be a very long definition. It's going to be full of several bullet points. It's going to be extremely long. For the purpose of just defining what's simply a sandwich, Webster's dictionary does not have the space to list all of what exactly encompasses a sandwich. Which is why they need a court to elaborate on what specifically counts as a sandwich.
Okay, but I mean, so I brought up the Webster Dictionary of a sandwich, which, by the way, your point about the Webster Dictionary not having the space, I don't know what that was. Do you want do you want to give that one again, real quick? Because I feel I must be misinterpreting, because I don't know what you mean by that. Because they have the space, they can print as many pages as they want.
Dictionary.
They have all the definitions of sandwich.
But there's no but.
They're
not Zinker, but they're not. Yes, but how much research do you think Webster Dictionary has done into what constitutes a sandwich?
Probably enough to understand what common language is, since that's sort of their
Zinker,
job.
Okay, let me put it this way. Do you think Webster's Dictionary can tell you exactly what counts as tax evasion?
Tell me exactly? I don't know if they define what tax evasion is.
You think they'll tell you exactly what counts as tax evasion?
Well,
it's just like they don't define exactly what a sandwich is.
Derek, when I say they don't define exactly as tax evasion, tax evasion isn't a single word. They're two words.
Yes, but they can.
So no, they wouldn't.
Zinker,
you know what, Derek? Hold on. Let me. First off, what do I do here? Hold on. Let me cheer. Let me get these toads to help me out. They're gonna. I paid them a lot. I need some help. Okay. They solved it for me. Okay, great. I did not understand what I needed to do there. And I was really having trouble. I don't know. I still don't even really know what they did to get there.
Dictionaries do have word combinations. They don't have just a single word.
I know, Derek. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to look at it right there. That I wanted to look it up. I don't have that right in front of me. Well, I did. I just I can't search it. Yeah, okay. So tax evasion is a legal term, which Merriam-Webster has, but it's a legal definition. See, legal definitions and actual definitions. See, it's a whole different thing. But anyhow, a willful and especially criminal attempt to evade the imposition of or payment of a tax.
Right, but they're not going to break it down and tell you exactly.
Well, because they're not a legal dictionary.
It's then why are you trying to cite it towards being or towards your point of a hot dog being a sandwich?
I'm not arguing the legal definition of a sandwich. I'm arguing the definition of a sandwich.
it does. Regardless, the point is, Zinker, you lost this argument. Matt Pads took my side. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. You
What do you
just
mean?
refuse to just. I
Derek,
feel like you just refuse to
at
understand,
the at the
like
end of
how this
his
should be
thing,
defined.
he notes that like dictionaries change your definition all the time. If you want the current definition of sandwich in the Merriam-Webster, you got 1, 2 or more slices of bread or a split roll having a filling in between. That's A of 1. B is 1 slice of bread covered with food, which covers a hot dog of a sandwich and stuff. So Matt Pat did not take your side.
I didn't hear like any of what you said.
Okay. The definition of a sandwich is defined commonly by the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Like I said, we already brought it up before, and it does back me up. 2 or more slices of bread or a split roll having a filling in between is A of the first definition. B of the first definition is 1 slice of bread covered with food. The second one is just something resembling a sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's the funniest one. Just I know it's like referring to like I don't know, like you put like 2 remotes over a smaller remote. It's a remote sandwich. That's what they mean by it. But
Yeah.
that's what that one's going for. But I still just think that's funny. Just it's something that resembles.
Well, no, Zinker, I believe that would be the verb of.
No, that's
Oh,
the
never mind, no,
sandwich
that would be
something.
that.
That'd be
say-
noun in the situation I was talking about. They have the verb, which is to make into
So
or as if into a sandwich.
If your argument,
So, anyhow, by
is
that legal term,
Merriam-Webster changed their definition, therefore sandwich changed, therefore that Mexican restaurant should no longer be allowed to operate. That's not what Matt Pat even talked about in the video. So why are we talking about it now if we're talking about if the point was to use the video to continue the discussion?
the video to continue the discussion. Well, okay, because I thought it does add a lot to the debate. That court case is important. That court case is also important in determining, like the reason why that judge reaches his verdict is extremely important. It's not just because a burrito and a taco isn't a sandwich. Period. End of story. He says it's commonly understood. Because if you're looking like, I want to go to a sandwich shop, you're thinking Is that my internet? Was that him? Did he crash? Derek, you still there? Maybe you rage lagged. You know, I guess we're just gonna have to continue this in the next episode. Let me finish my point, but I think it's unfair because Derek isn't here, but at least it's uninterrupted. And I have time to think about it because I'm not going to be moving around fighting random shit. I don't even know what I did this last episode. What was I going to say? So the commonly understood part, which is extremely important. When you think sandwich shop, you're thinking Subway. You aren't thinking a burger place. You aren't thinking a taco place. You think like Subway or Quizmos or something like that because you want a sandwich. But that doesn't mean a burger isn't considered a sandwich. The definition of it being a sandwich matters just for categorization. Like, if I wanted to make a BS diet, like a sandwich-only diet, I only want to eat sandwiches. A burger is a sandwich. A taco is a sandwich. They fit into that category. So if I were to make a fake sandwich diet or whatever, I could eat those types of things. Because they are sandwiches, and that's like a shitty example. There are reasons for the sandwich definition to exist outside of the legal definition of a sandwich. Which even then, he's still not saying like a taco or burrito isn't a sandwich. It's a specific court case for a specific thing. They're different types of sandwiches. You don't, the video game analogy was that video game is a broad term, but you shouldn't be able to deny a different video game store that, even because they're not the same type of video games, They are competing with each other because they're selling video games, but they're not directly competing with each other because one sells RPGs, the other sells puzzles or shooters or what the fuck ever. It's the same thing here. They both have sandwiches in it, but sandwich is too broad of a term to lock down in that specific thing. A sandwich in the situation of Panera Bread is more like Quizmos and Subway, and that's the commonly understood part of that, what he says in that quote. It's extremely important. Extremely important. That could not be more important in that conversation. And yes, like I said, the Merriam-Webster backs me up, which is, I know we get a little heated about our conversation, but I don't know why I said, you're just mad because, like, you're not being backed up. I'm not mad because I'm not being backed up. I know the dictionary backs me up. I'm already on that. Derek's a good argumenter. Derek is not a good argumenter when he's on camera. That statement is so true. I don't know. It's sort of like his Mario Party skills. He doesn't have any when he plays online. But that's not true. He does. But no, whenever he records a multiplayer game, he does a lot worse than he normally does. Some weird effect. It's gotta fit into his argumentation skills or whatever debate skills. That's what a person would call. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and subscribe if you like the debate. Don't know if tomorrow we'll have another one or not. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Bye.